Hello everybody, we're back with episode 3 of Turn-Based Combat. In this episode, we're most likely going to just be finishing up the enemy phase of the combat system, and then next episode we'll talk about player phase a little bit, and then, yeah. So I guess, yeah, this one's going to be another scripting heavy episode, unfortunately, but next episode will be a little bit of a break from that. But anyways, let's dive right into it. So basically, you can have any sort of like AI that you want to happen in here, but the way I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna have them randomly choose a move and a target, and based on that, just attack. And so we're actually gonna really quickly make a way to play a move given who's playing it, the move that they're playing. So move that they're playing, as well as a list of their targets. Because if it's AoE, then we want a list, and if it isn't, then we'll just have one target. Okay. And then for now, we'll make this do nothing. We'll fill this out in a later episode. Okay, so first off, give ourselves some space. So we basically need to find just a random move index that they have, and use that. So let's go ahead and find that. Let's just get like a int and move index is equal to random range from 0 to enemy dot stats dot moves dot count, and then this should find this is ambiguous, right? We need to use, because we're using the system namespace as well up top, we need to specify that we want Unity Engines random and not systems random. But this should give us an integer between 0 and the count, and max is exclusive, so we won't run into any index errors there. And then we want their attack move to be basically the same thing, just stats index. And so we're getting that random move. And then here we want to make sure we know who our targets are. So let's go ahead and create a list of combatants. That'll be our targets. Just make that a new list for now. And then if if move dot area of effect, then targets dot add on, make it busy Slack. Okay. Sorry about that, but let me yeah, so just want to add all of the players. Remember, we have that in an array up here, and of course we can't just do add, we need to do add range, so it'll add that whole list. Else we want to randomly select one, so we can do the same thing, int rand player index equal to unity engine dot random dot range between 0 players dot count, and then we'll just do targets dot add players and index, and there we go. So now we have our targets, and then we can just do something like move, give it enemy, move, targets, and we just do a yield return and a start coroutine, because that's what is a coroutine. Okay, now we no longer need that, and we'll add more stuff to this later. Because most of the bulk of the um, stuff will sort of be happening in here. And then we'll add in UI as we go later. So like stuff like, oh, he's attacking this player or he attacks the entire party. Um, Actually, that reminds me. Um, so we actually need to do a little bit more work here. We need to check if move dot type. Actually, yeah, let's just do a switch. Actually, we don't need to switch for this. There's two cases. So if move dot type equals move type dot attack, then we do that. Else, this needs to be else if move type equals move type dot heal. Then targets dot add range. And this will be enemies. Because if we don't want them to heal the players, we want them to heal themselves. And we have to do a similar thing down here. I'm trying to think if there's a better way to, but I think we'll still have two sort of sections. So if move.type equals move_type.attack, then we do all this stuff. Else, we could basically copy this. Just change this to enemies. Enemy index, and make sure, of course, that this is from the enemies. And then we also want to make sure that this is if type equals dot. And yeah, we'll eventually want to add in stuff for like healing or passing, but I don't think enemies should ever pass randomly. This is like a design decision. But yeah, we'll add in support later for fleeing. But that's like more complicated behavior than just randomly choosing. It'd have to be like they're low health and like panicking or whatever. You'd like have them flee. But for now, this'll do what we need. And actually, this is pretty short, so I think we'll go ahead and tackle player phase here as well. And the next episode will be play move, which will be a little bit longer. This might run a little bit longer than I planned, but that's perfectly okay. So back in Unity, the way we want players to be able to choose a move, just like through UI, and so you could spawn in like buttons for each move that they have, and like organize them that way. But I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I don't know how well it's gonna work. And we'll just, I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Persona 5 recently, so I've been really taken by their turn-based battle system, and we could try to do something like that. I have made like a UI that's pretty similar for like the main menu and stuff. So this shouldn't be too much of a stretch to do. Yeah, yeah, let's just dive right into it, I guess. So first off, just gonna go ahead and create a canvas. And I'll worry about all of this stuff later. I'm not sure if it, actually no, let's keep it as a screen space overlay, scale with screen size. Just give it a classic 1920 by 1080. And then let's go ahead and zoom out so we can take a look at our canvas. We're gonna go ahead and add an empty object, and this will be our menu option. And let's go ahead and change the width to not be square. Let's have it be something like 300. Let's give it a background. Let's give it a panel as the background. Now, of course, we can change the sprite to other things once we have those assets. and we could use like whatever color we want. I think I'll just stick with the red tint for now. We'll change these later once I remember to import some assets. And we'll go ahead as well add Text Mesh Pro. Go ahead and import that. Cool. And then let's go ahead and give this 50 by 75. Make sure it's centered. And then this can be like move name. And we want it to go size. Do we? Let's see. We want it to. I'm not sure actually if we want it to auto size or not. Like, what's the longest name we'd have? Like that still fits, and I think that's one of the longer. I don't know. I think this is mainly up to you guys. Like to size this correctly, and they're both the same. Make it italicized. Why not? Give it some spice until we import a new font. Okay, let's also give it an outline because. Black's fine. And of course you could like change this to be a gradient. A horizontal gradient from like tinted. I don't know. We don't need to go too hard on those things. And let's go ahead and set the alpha. I'm not really good at UI design at all by any stretch of the imagination, but don't worry about it. Background. Okay, that should be everything we need, and now we can start writing another script. So let's go ahead and create a script, and this will be menu option. Okay. So in our menu option, we want a couple things. So we want a Unity. I guess we need the Unity events. Events. Yeah, we just need like public Unity event on clicked. Public Unity event on selected, and one more on unselected. Just make this pressed maybe. Okay. Anything else that we'll need? I think those are the main three. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll also need an animator. And just to save some time, I'm also going to make that required so we don't have to add it in ourselves. Okay, so we have our animator, we have events for normal button stuff. Have this in start. We don't really need an update function, but what we do need is a public void unselect. And what this will do is just anim.set. Let's just do set. Do we want to do triggers is the thing? I'll just do booleans, why not? Unselected, true, and then on unselected invoke, and then basically the same thing for selecting, except this will be for selected and selected. Okay. I guess, yeah, we also need one for press. I'm gonna grab the full function. And this will be pressed. And I guess we can also set the other two booleans to false. Both be false. These here, false as well. And yeah, here, false. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, and then we need to change this. All right. So now that we have all that, we can go to our menu option and add this menu option script. And so that automatically adds this animator for us as well as this menu option. Okay, and then we can start making some animations for this. In fact, we should at least make a animator controller. So if we go over to the animation tab, you can go ahead and click this to create animations. And I'm just gonna make a new folder for animations, a new folder for menu options, and this will be our new. I guess should be. I guess the first thing we'll make is selected. Okay. So if we go into our animator now, we have this selected by default. We can go into parameters and add the three booleans that we wanted. So selected, there was unselected, and finally there was pressed. Okay. So we're gonna make three different animations really quickly, and then I'll probably call it an episode there. So for when we select this, so we also need to think about, let's go ahead and create a new clip really quick. I'll call it unselected. So our default state will most likely be unselected. So now if you go back into our animator, you'll see that this has also been created. And then we can also set this as the layer default state. So it starts out as unselected and then goes to whatever based on booleans and stuff later. So we want to think about what this should look like. And another cool thing we can do is if we change this image type on the panel to build, you can sort of really mess around with yeah, well, as you can see, the way it fills. You can change this from radial to different kinds of radial to get some cool effects. And I like messing with those as animations. So yeah, selected and unselected kind of depend on one another in that we want this to basically go from selected to unselected. And so we need to think about what our selected should end up looking like. So at this point in the animation, at the very end of the animation, what does the selected finish as? We will also need another, but so let's go ahead and set this as our default. That basically just nudge the values a little, that it starts tracking them. And actually, we want the unselected to have a lower alpha. And we also want this to be I think horizontal. Stop recording. And then we can also, so we're unselected right now, so the scale is fine. And I think here at 50, this is seconds, right? Yeah. Or millisecond. Yeah, it's in seconds, 50 seconds. We can change the scale to be that, and then here we'll change it to 1.1. Have the fill as full. Here we'll have it also be full, and here we'll have 0. So now if we play this, or so it's 0 there. Oh, we never recorded it as 1 here. Put it at 1, 1 there. Cool. Yeah, and we can speed up the animation. Yeah, I think that's fine. Obviously, we'll want a different sprite in the background because this one's really ugly at the moment. This background sprite. That might work. Yeah, I think this one might work as well. Oh, whoops, I was recording. I need to not do that. Yeah. Cool. And then we can change horizontal as this to background. So that way, yeah. And it looks like because I deleted the color, it doesn't remember that I wanted the low alpha. Here, I want its alpha. Where? Well, no, a little bit more than where we want. And then here, we'll turn it back down. So then we get something that ends up looking a little like this. And we can speed that up. But yeah, that's looking pretty much exactly how we want. And then we can copy this frame, go to unselected and make that our very ending keyframe. And then from here, we can go back into selected and copy this keyframe and go to unselected. We'll add it so zoomed in. And this is okay. Wow, somehow managed to exactly land it on 0, but this just did along. And one other thing I want to record, well, I don't want to. We need to make sure that this is filled horizontally. Board, this starts at 1 and goes to 0. Cool. Actually, another thing I want this to change is right. We'll see how it looks. But and these are good rudimentary until we get in better right animations. Yeah. We also need one for pressed. We need another one. We need an idle as well. And this will just be starting at 1.1, 1.1, and going to 0 0.9, 0.9, and then back to 1.1 and 1.1. Hopefully that's pronounced enough to look like. Okay, yeah. That's pretty much it. Cool. yeah, and then we'll need our pressed animation as well. So we're most likely idling on it at this point. So let's go ahead and record, and we'll start at 1.1 and 1.1. And here we'll lerp the color to white, red, whitish red, white red. And here we also want this to color, the scale to go down like maybe 1. And then back red and 1.1, 1.1. Yeah, and it's not going to loop. Good. Alright, but now in our project you can see we have all of these. We want to make sure that selected does not loop, unselected does not loop, and pressed does not loop, but idle should. There we go. And then we just have to set up the transitions between all of them. So unselected is by default, and then we'll make a transition. We'll make sure that the transition doesn't have any exit time and there is no fixed duration. And we'll just drag this close to the end. Then we need to add a condition, and that is for when selected is true. And then once this is done, it immediately go here, has exit time. We want this to be more like there. Okay, and then from idle pressed. So idle can go to unselected or pressed. So here we can just have the same thing with no transition duration. Yeah, and then a condition for when selected is true. And then here we can go change all of these and pressed is true. And then we can just exit the anime. Actually, that'll take us back to unselected, so we don't need to do that. We can just have it stick here for now. Okay. Anything else I'm free? No, I think that's it for that. And then we just need some sort of manager to go between those. So really quickly, let's make this the battle menu UI, battle menu manager, I guess. And we'll make a script for that as well. We'll just do like combat menu manager, and this will in a public list of menu options, our options, and then let's see, what else do we need? I think that's it. I guess like we want a public float for input speed f. Or no, we wanted this at 0.3. And then in update, we also need a private float last input time. This will just be that, and we'll just set last input time equal to time.time and start. And then in update, if time.time minus last input time is greater than input speed, then we can do input stuff. So float vertical equals input.getAxis raw vertical, and then if oh yeah, we also need a private int current index. And actually, we can just make this an array of menu options. We don't need it to be. If vertical is greater than 0, then actually we should make this to avoid like dead zone issues. If vertical is greater than 0.1, then current index plus plus. Else, if vertical is less than 0 or negative 0.1, then current index minus minus. And actually, I think these should be because of the way the buttons will be laid out. Okay, and then we can just do a quick check to make sure that the current index is always wrapped. So if current index is less than 0, current index equals options.count length minus 1. Else, if current index is greater than 0, or not 0, options length greater than or equal to, then current index options equal to 0. Okay, and then I guess we should also keep an old index. And then we'll just have like a public void change index that takes in menu option old and menu option current. And then we just do old.unselect and current.select. And we can just do change index using our options of old index and options new index. Sorry if I'm kind of flying through this, but basically what I'm doing is setting up a sort of rudimentary UI system we can use to basically customize the UI that we use for our battle a little bit more than if we just use Unity default UI. Just realized I was not explaining what I was doing, I'm just talking out loud about what I'm typing, but let's go ahead and make this a prefab. So let's create a folder for those. Drag the menu option in there. And let's drag another one there. And change this to like backslash. Whereas be something like, I don't know. Okay. But now if we go ahead and add our combat menu manager script and lock the inspector up here at the top, and then we can select both of these and drag them into the options slot. But now if we hit play, we can switch between. Ooh, I messed something up, didn't I? See, so it just goes back to unselected. So let's go ahead and take a look at current index by using the debug method or view. Our current index is 0, and now it's 1, so this should be the selected one. So this goes to unselected and then so it goes to selected and then unselected somehow. Hold on, I'm trying to figure. Alright, hold on. Let's bring this out here so we can see what's happening. And we want to click on this. goes to idle. So it unselects and then immediately goes to selected vector. And switch out of debug mode. Cause wait, no, that shouldn't be happening. Selected is set to false before unselected is set to true. Yeah. Somewhere selected's being set to true. Shouldn't be. Did do this part right, I think. Let's see, we're on this right now. Oh, okay. It's because I forgot to do this. Last input time equals time.time. So basically it was going super quickly. Every frame. So now, hopefully. Yeah, it's very slow, but we can fix that by just changing our speed. Something like that. And we want to speed up our animations as well. But yeah, there we go. That's basically our system done. We can speed up the animations in here. Set this to like twice as fast. This, I think the idle's fine being slow, but yeah, it's a little bit better. And we'll move these around. Well, basically what we'll do in the future is we'll organize these around the player that's currently moving. So we'll use their like screen position to orient where our UI shows up. It won't just be in the middle of the screen like this. But yeah, that will all be in a future episode for now. And then now that we've set these things up, it'll make it a lot easier to set up our player phase in the next episode. So that is going to happen next episode. Because this turned out to be 30 minutes of me messing around with UI, unfortunately. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I will catch you all in the next episode. If I can close out of this. Alright. Yeah, there we go.